Hey, it's Simon. As you may already know, in our videos you learn how to drive more traffic, convert more leads, build stronger relationships with those leads, and leverage those relationships to sell more of your products and services again and again. Now, the focus of our videos is results-oriented, measurable internet marketing strategy and effective content that's optimized for search engines, readability, and persuasion. In this video, we're going to look at an important aspect of your content, your headlines. So important, in fact, that people often don't read any other parts of your pages, and if you get the headline wrong, they definitely won't. I asked Sarah to come and talk to you on camera about this so that you can write headlines that draw traffic, make people pay attention, and get people to take action. At the end of this video, I'll tell you where you can get a transcript so that you can have some notes handy when you're writing strong headlines for your business.
The first thing you need to know about headlines is if you ignore your headlines, your prospects will ignore you. And it's easy to tell why. Studies show that 2 out of 10 people read body copy. 8 out of 10 read headlines. That's 80% of your readers read your headlines, 20% read your body copy. And so your headline is also your first chance to kind of establish a relationship with your prospects. And, you know, like the old chestnut says, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And that's, pretty true of headlines as well. One thing you have to remember about writing headlines, though, is that if you're writing online, it's a very different act than writing offline. Writing headlines online isn't the same as writing them in print. So in a magazine or newspaper, the headline appears with its content. So even if readers aren't sure what the story's about, they can easily keep reading and figure it out. In fact, good print headlines are often deliberately, quirky, unusual, or vague. They use puns. They tweak curiosity so the story gets read.
So sometimes you'll even see a headline that's just maybe 2 words. It says something like, "Why now?" or what have you, complemented
Exactly.
by a picture and other content that gives context to the headline. But without that context, the headline itself makes no sense.
You're absolutely right. And online, headlines have to stand on their own a lot of the time. Think about search engine results or on social networking sites. Most of those places only have the headlines, so you don't have that extra content to give you context. So your readers don't have time to ferret out the meaning of an unusual headline. If you give it to them straight, they'll reward you with clicks. Otherwise, they'll just click away. There are 3 things that you can do that virtually guarantee magnetic headlines. And the first thing you have to do is appeal to people's self-interest. You'll never go wrong with headlines that tell people they can be sexy, rich, powerful, skinny, essentially a much better person than they are now. And as an added bonus, if you tell them they won't have to work hard, you'll have a headline that's absolutely guaranteed to draw eyes. The second thing you can do is appeal to people's love of news and novelty. So you use words like introducing or finally and new. They're like catnip for prospects. Third thing you can do is engage your prospects' curiosity. If you think about somebody sitting and surfing online, they're kind of sleepy, they're sort of in their little online zone. If you can make them kind of sit up and go, huh? And surprise them out of their sleepy stupor, you're golden. The chances are that much greater that they're going to click through to your content.
I think that all of the things you just mentioned come back to one of the most important points whenever you're doing marketing, which is to put yourself in the position of your prospect and think about what's going on in their mind and what would appeal to them. So do you think that applies particularly to headlines?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's no better way to write a headline than to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and figure out what it is they want to read. So 3 things to put in your headline: self-interest, news, or curiosity, or a combination of the 3. But there are other elements that make a good headline as well. It helps to include keywords in your headline. Now, if you know anything about SEO, you know that keywords are really important in your headline, but they're important for another reason too. They establish a feeling of familiarity for your readers. Think about it. If your readers type a phrase into Google and they come on your site and in your headline is the exact phrase that they just typed in, they automatically know they're in the right place. You've eased their journey into your copy. So use keywords in your headline for SEO purposes, but also to make your reader feel comfortable. So going back to what makes good headlines, the best headlines appeal to sort of elemental human emotions. You know what they are. We don't want to feel shame or humiliation. We want stuff to be easy and fast. We have a sense of urgency. We also feel like we want to belong, right? We want to be part of the in crowd. We want to have access to exclusive information that nobody else has. If you poke at those kinds of emotions, you'll create headlines that really resonate with your prospects. All right, now I've got a situation for you, and I know you've been in this before. What do you do when you've got a deadline looming and no ideas?
Oh yeah, particularly deadline is within 12 hours, maybe the next morning, and you're up at night trying to rack your brain and nothing's coming, and you just know you got to write a headline for a landing page, and you're just struggling because it's just not coming out. So what do you do?
Absolutely. There's nothing in your head but the sound of crickets. You turn to the two types of headlines, and by extension the two types of articles that readers love: lists and how-tos. Lists, first of all, are irresistible because they make an explicit promise about what the reader is going to learn. Right? So they're going to learn the 5 secrets to flat abs. They're going to learn the best 30 songs nobody's ever heard of. They're going to learn the top 100 restaurants where you're going to spend under $10. All right? It's a promise to your reader, and they know exactly what they're going to get right away. The other benefit of list posts is that we are constantly bombarded with information. A list post filters out those information and kind of feeds your prospect info in easily digestible bits. And that's really important when we have kind of random facts coming at us all the time. So they filter and they make that explicit promise. How-tos are kind of the same thing. They make an explicit promise to your reader, and they have the added benefit of helping your prospect solve a problem, right? Pain is a powerful motivator, and how-tos promise to ease some of the pain. So if you look on the cover of any consumer magazine, chances are you're going to see a number, which indicates a list post, and you're probably also going to see at least one how-to article. So I have one more technique, especially for people who are staring down a deadline and starting to panic. Let someone else write your headline for you. Okay? Other writers through the years have already figured out headline formats that work, so capitalize on their efforts. All you have to do is Google headline templates, and you'll get a series of headline templates. All you have to do is fill in your particular details and you're good to go. This is based on 80 years worth of people writing advertising copy and marketing copy. We've figured out what pushes people's buttons, so why reinvent the wheel?
What's the best headline you've ever seen? Can you think of one?
Oh boy. Probably it's from tested advertising methods, and it's been used in piles of places, but it's, how a fool stunt made me into a star salesman. And I think when I was writing articles about headlines, I wrote something like, how a 74-year-old book that doesn't mention the internet can teach you how to write great online headlines. So that was me taking an 80-year-old headline and repurposing it. So I think that's the one that really sticks in my head.
And in that headline, you see it's got the curiosity factor because you're thinking, how can something so old be still relevant? And it also has the self-interest to teach you how to write great headlines.
Absolutely. And actually, the added bonus of that one is it has the possibility of being an interesting story. And people can't resist stories. So it's a killer headline.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much, Sarah. We use this advice in our own business to write and test headlines on a daily basis, and I can tell you that it works. So if you want to get started, get the transcript for this video on our website. Just go to communemedia.com/blog/headline-video. When you're on our site, you can also find a bunch of other resources on internet marketing and content optimization, like our writing guide, and you can also download our instant content optimization ebook. If you have a large website and you want help finding out where your business might be leaking traffic, leads, and sales, you can request an optimization analysis absolutely free and with no obligation directly on the site. Just click the button when you're there. You can't miss it. Also, please leave a comment on this video. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you might like to see in future so that we can create videos that address your internet marketing and content challenges. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak with you again soon.